So obviously, the presidential race was not the only thing to look out for on Tuesday, because across the country, there were many losses for progressives, but we also had some wins. So first of all, I want to talk about the losses so that way we can end on a more positive note, because I think that's what people need after this crazy election. So first and foremost, the fact that Republicans control the House and the Senate and the White House now is a huge loss for progressives, because whatever regressive policies that they want to implement, they can now do so with little institutional checks on their power. And they also will control the Supreme Court now, perhaps for 3 to 4 decades. So if it is the case that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for example, steps down, we have now perhaps a 6-3 split on the Supreme Court, which will be devastating for generations. Now, also, Colorado voted on a single-payer healthcare system. This was a ballot initiative, and this was big because it could have been a model for the rest of the country, and this was defeated. It lost. So this was really sad to me, because if it were the case that Colorado passed this, well, maybe we would see a domino effect. I mean, Colorado was a maverick when it comes to pot legalization, and now we see many more states legalizing marijuana across the country. We now have 8 states, I believe, that have legal recreational marijuana. So if they got the ball rolling with single-payer healthcare, with a single-payer healthcare system, and they showed us that it worked, you would no doubt see it across the country in many other states, and I think that support for a national single-payer system would increase, but unfortunately, this was defeated. Now, also, other prominent Berniecrats lost their races. We had Misty Snow lose the Senate race in Utah, and the one that probably hurt the most was the fact that Zephyr Teachout was defeated. So, President Obama took the district that she was running in both the 2008 and 2012 elections, and we were expecting her to pull off a win, and unfortunately that didn't happen because turnout was so low for Democrats. It was depressed because you had someone at the top of the ticket that wasn't inspirational. Now, the reason why we care so much about Zephyr Teachout is because she was an individual that had the potential to maybe run for president, and she's a true progressive. So this was a tough one to swallow, to know that she lost. Now, the biggest loss, I think, of the night was the fact that Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein did not receive 5% of the vote. They only pulled in approximately 1%. So that means that they will not receive federal matching funds. So the hopes that we can build a Green Party and help them win more down-ticket races is now dashed. If there was any election where we could have got the Greens to 5%, it was this election, and they pulled in 1%. People just aren't willing to risk it and vote third party. They would rather stay home. So that was really disappointing. Now let's get to the wins, because there were some very big victories that we all need to celebrate. Tammy Duckworth, a real progressive, is now a U.S. Senator. She defeated Mark Kirk, who is just a gigantic idiot. So this is a phenomenal win for progressives. Also, Pramila Jayapal and Jamie Raskin are now members of the House. And these are true progressives. Again, phenomenal win. Now, down-ticket Green Party members won seats in state legislatures across the country. They won in California, in Florida, in Michigan, in Minnesota. So even though Dr. Jill Stein did not reach 5%, we do still see the Greens growing, albeit much slower than we wanted or hoped for. Now, when it comes to Maine, they voted on an initiative to include ranked choice voting in their state. So you wouldn't be accused of spoiling the election if you voted third party. That passed. So in Maine, we are going to see ranked choice voting, no more arguments against third party candidates, and this could really elevate the Green Party. So this is a phenomenal win, and I was ecstatic when I found out about it. Now also, marijuana won big in this election. So it was on the ballot in 5 states to be legalized for recreational use, and it won in 4 out of the 5 states. So pot is now legal in California, Maine, Nevada, and Massachusetts, and it's already legal in Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and Colorado. So we have 8 states where you can get high and not have to worry about being arrested. This is phenomenal. Now, additionally, medical marijuana is now legal in the state of North Dakota, Montana, Arkansas, and Florida. Now, this is just a no-brainer. It should have been legal already, but the fact that they're moving in that direction is great, and it really shows that recreational marijuana is kind of making it easier for medical marijuana to become legal in these really anti-marijuana states. So in the end, with every election, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Overall, I'd say the result of this election was a disaster. We had various wins here and there that helped to lessen the blow. But let me just say this, progress moves in one direction, and that's forward. So you may have some setbacks, but that's not going to change the fact that the future generation of this country, we are against corporatism. We're in favor of pot legalization. We're in favor of protecting the rights of disadvantaged groups. So if you are disappointed now, just know that we're going to win big in the future, and we're not alone. So many people look at America and see we're behind in so many different ways. We're behind when it comes to our healthcare system and whatnot. But this right-wing populist wave is not just something that is occurring in the United States. It's happening everywhere. It's happening across Europe. There's this movement in Australia. So it's not just us. We're not the only ones going back. But in the end, we will win because younger generations ultimately will have the final say. My only hope is that it's not too late when it comes to issues like climate change, and unfortunately, I think that will be the case because all they can do is kind of filibuster progress for now, and that could be disastrous for the future of our generation. So, in the end, we'll take the wins where we can get them.